NartOutHere here with Smirky, breaking down the current meta of CT Side Ancient since the map changes on the 12th of December. The map is being played in a totally different way on the CT side, and this video will showcase how to approach the map.
Ancient has received quite a few changes, and some notable heavy ones are the changes to CT spawn, delaying the CT side from taking map control in any part of the map. The other big changes that were made was on B. These two structures have been shortened, nerfing the cubby position and buffing short, allowing the defensive side to play further back. Now with these changes being made, let's take a look at how it affects the map. First, the timings have been heavily nerfed for the CT side. Where previously the CTs could contest banana control, the Ts are now closer, forcing the CTs to be more defensive. This heavily affects how you default on B and banana, and mid. And for reference, you still beat the T side to cave, even when you have the worst CT spawn.
The spawn changes being moved back heavily nerfed the CT sides in their aggression towards banana and lane control, and also affect CT mid control because the T's coming out of elbow around the same time as CTs, which means Smirky gonna break down.
Let's take a look at how the CTs are adapting to these changes, starting with mid control. CTs going against the instant house smokes, guide below, is a vulnerable weakness as it denies information and the smoke lands before they can even get out, forcing the CTs to sit behind, wondering what's actually happening, while making it impossible to take. And these smokes can make it really difficult to line up util, making it a rough guess when throwing it. But not having an instant smoke from the T side makes it easier to contest, especially in ecos or just pokes. Now, how should you approach mid? Well, there are quite a few takes I've seen teams try, but there was one that stood out as the most common. We saw this close molly and nade combo on elbow, where the molly lands before the CTs even get out, letting the CTs know they're pushing out. And the nade will be used to damage Ts wanting to push past their molly. In round 9, this is used really well, where OG go for a fast mid play, and FaZe ran this take, but with two HEs causing OG to slow down and limp past their smoke. When the Ts go for a fast mid play, they tend to sit next to this wall, to avoid them being open to donut early. This common pathing allows Twist to spam the extinguished molly, and spam the pathing where he doubles up in this round. Now, there are rounds where teams want mid control, and will move resources from one area of the map to another. Astral's ran a take against OG, where Blamer threw a quick smoke, denying info, and will use it as a wall. Straight after, he's going to throw a HE and play anti, avoiding OG's flashbangs in the process. Afterwards, he can turn around and catch players going through the smoke, spam it, or peek into heaven down banana. Here are the rest of the Astralis players' POVs.
The issue with dedicating 3 players towards mid is that you're going to be vulnerable towards the A and B site, meaning if the T's do decide to rush either sites. It will be easy for the T side to take A or B very fast, seeing if you have 3 players towards mid, only 1 or 0 players are towards the other site depending on your setup.
Heroic ran a nice 4-man play for mid, where at the start of the round, Shush smoked elbow from CT.
You're going to position with this stone here while standing on the back wall, aim here, then jump throw. They're using this elbow smoke from here because it's impossible to throw the deep elbow smoke now with no lineup because of the instant house smoke from the Ts.
Meanwhile, Cadian will go in first, mollying and flashing. Yabi will HE, and Tessus will have his gun out until the Danes want the flash to peek.
You have to use your utility to fight for mid control on CT side.
At this point, they have mid control, they can peek into banana and re-smoke elbow. The last take you could use if you really want to get in the T's face is something from NIP, where Alexi will throw a molly and a flash, Rez will also throw a flash, and Headtrick will throw a HE, all landing close. On top of this, you have Alexi trying to run close to the smoke, Rez is anti, ready to turn around if Alexi gets flashed. Meanwhile, Headtrick jumped into Cubby to help hold the smoke, and you can also use the wall to block off the flashbangs. But after taking mid, they feel a bit uncomfortable and they will fall off.
Be ready to rotate fast if you do 3 mid, because the teams will know depending on what utility and the amount you are throwing that you're playing 3 mid.
And while we're on the topic of different ways to play mid, there are times when the mid player is solo, since the AWPer is somewhere else on the map. And generally when this happens, the solo mid player will do the same thing as if there were 2, but maybe have 1 less HE, or can't do anything against aggression in the case you get rushed down.
So your objective as the house player, if there's only one coming out towards house, which we see Zipix here get smoked off, is you want to throw utility, then spam the smoke, and then you should have your donut player pick up mid. Whatever you do, if you are the solo house player at the start of the round, do not come out of house if there's an instant smoke, because you have no clue if the T's are coming out fast, and if you do by chance come out, you're going to be eating flashes and you're going to give up the opening frag.
Now, there are rounds where the mid players want to jump into donut early, ready to catch the CTs in a position they are less likely to be smoked in. But the pathing has to be good, else running down the stairs while the T's throw their flashbangs, wanting to rush in, may make your life hell. So if you are wanting to go donut early, you do need to be aware of the possible risks. Alternatively, you could go through the donut smoke, but it's a bit difficult to contest mid, making it more of a position to safely catch T's wanting to aggress in. Now, when it's an anti-eco or there's no house smokes, teams tend to go for full mid control as some sort of punishment. Teams like FaZe will do their default, and when they notice there is no contention from the T side, they will punish and pounce on the opportunity by smoking elbow and flashing these boxes to allow you to peek with the flash. At this point, you can move your AWPer around the map and have your rifler peek down banana from heaven. I would still recommend though doing the starting util before smoking elbow, as that smoke ain't stopping them from coming through.
That's why it could be super strong if the T's throw an instant house smoke on ecos.
Now for the B side of things, where banana was once an area for CTs to take and pressure the T's in a tight spot, it's now an area where the CTs have to play defensive to stop rushes.
Due to the spawn time changes.
As shown at the start of the video, the spawns for Cheetah don't actually matter that much, but can be changed by getting the T's to slow down or getting blocked in CT spawn. However, we did see a few rounds where the CTs wouldn't go cave at the start of the round, and this would be for anti-ecos. From the looks of it in this round, EG don't want to play isolated, where they could quickly get rushed down by pistols.
With these changes, the B rush is more stronger for the T's, so you have to play more anti-rush.
Just like mid, there are so many different ways you can start, but to save you the time, let's take a look at the most common and best takes. This ramp and Cheetah molly combined with the double nade combo are the most common and in my opinion the best. But to give it an easier name, I'm just going to call it EG, since that's where I think it came from. At the start of the round, you will see 2 HEs that land near the door. This is aimed to deal a bit of damage, but mainly slow them down. Layering that with 2 mollies, this set piece makes it difficult for the T side to challenge Cheetah fast. And Falcon showed us pretty well, as when they threw the nades, it dished a lot of damage and slowed down stair. This gives Masuta bonus time, but he makes the mistake of not mollying the entrance.
As a Cheetah player, you want to molly the entrance only if you think the T's are coming up, which Rain does a really good job at this.
A similar take to this is a triple nade variation, where you can grab your AWPer to throw the HE your cave player would, meanwhile your cave player can use it to nade the entrance. But Nexon misses his grenade and Carrigan gets control.
Make sure to take advantage of the lane nade to slow the T's coming up into Cheetah.
And last set piece comes from Heroic. They have been mixing and matching this take with others, mainly so it's not always the same, where the T side could slowly adapt. This take will consist of a molly landing at Cheetah and Orange, then 2 HEs. One will be your standard grenade, whereas the other one will land directly on the molly. Rushing players are forced to smoke the molly or run through, giving a notification to the CT side while doing additional damage with the nade. The only weakness you have in this take is that there is no molly on ramp, but the T side may throw something at ramp to stop you from pushing, and Heroic generally throw a flash or have someone holding a push. Let's take a look at a few scenarios you may experience inside of Cheetah. Best case scenario as a cave player is to have 0 contestions. When this happens, the cave player can smoke his molly once he feels safe and no one's going to push him. At this point, he can start doing these wall bangs, which I covered in this Blame F defaulting cave video. However, once your smoke is soon to fade, it's best to fall off, else you will easily get cleared by the T's doing util. Another scenario you may experience, which isn't getting rushed, is having the T side throw this cave smoke from spawn. Either the T side will use the smoke to come out of heaven into mid, blocking your vision, or the last option is that you get a surprise visit. If Nexa was to stay inside of cave against Karrigan's Molotov, I would have given this fight to Karrigan, as Nexa's chances of surviving without falling away is very close to null. Now, what does the ramp player do? Well, I've already showcased the takes the B side will use, but we can do some layering, can't we? Yes, goddammit! The majority of the time, there will always be a molly from the CT side, used to defend ramp against early T presence. However, this default molly is pretty restrictive, forcing your average CT to go through short. But Fiku has his own molly that he can use if he wants to go long and molly ramp. Simply run in the middle of the alley, keep your crosshair in the middle of these stones, and jump throw after passing the corner, and this will land on ramp. And you can use this molly every round, as it saves you not having to panic switch util after leaving short. You can also do the molly, throw a HE for banana, and quickly go long. Whereas with your typical molly, you have to come out short, and you can easily be overwhelmed or isolated on site. Something else you can do is spam wood or cubby. This just helps delay the T's after the nades are thrown, and perhaps get some cheeky damage in. But do be warned, it can always come right back at you. A notable change we spotted was the AWP. Where the AWP was originally placed on mid and would act as the A rotator and maybe dotted around the map, they tend to start B roughly 40 to 45% of the rounds, and very commonly go B in the mid or late rounds. Before the AWP wants to go B, they tend to either throw or give util for the mid player as a nice gesture. Afterwards, they can just head over to B. This quick help can let the mid player hold on to more util or have a stronger chance in dealing damage to a mid push. But at the start of the round on B, they will pick a position to play. Most common spot I've seen is short, where AWP'ers can pause up an angle of their choice to hold ramp. Positioning against ramp can be really effective against the T side, where if they want to do something fast on B, they could allow the AWP to get an easy kill and back up. And Cadian had a nice off angle you can use at the start or during the mid round, where he peeks deep into ramp, potentially catching an unsuspecting T, but it can be hard to fall off if you don't back up perfectly. Two other positions you can use is peeking from long down into ramp. This is pretty decent and common, but you do want to be aware of this boost. And lastly, for a position that I think is very powerful, especially against aggression in Cheetah. Now the T side is consistently wanting Cheetah control pretty quickly, it can make them an easier target, not having to worry about any of their util, and they just walk right into your crosshair. On Old Ancient, early CT banana takes were common, but as I mentioned, like I'm beating a dead horse, the spawn timings have removed that play, but EG has been running something you could use. They have a take where they play 3B, do their default util, but play too close ramp, and get Wiz to do some util. He will smoke door,
which you're going to find this wall to the right, duck, aim here to the left of this mark above the stone, then jump throw. You'll also want to follow up with flashes for your teammates.
Pop flash the guys in, and molly cubby, creating a fast, unsuspecting play after the Molotovs are gone from ramp. On the CT side, you are now very limited on map control and areas to contest, making it easier for the T side to control the map and pressure. To relieve the pressure, you should push an area like ramp if the T's make a lot of noise around one part of the map. The aim of these pushes is to catch lurkers and trade map control, to have a chance in the round. Like in this round where Astralis is a man down and has 0 util left.
In the pro scene, you're gonna often see CTs push down this ramp area mid to late round.
The CT side has received an overall nerf, allowing the T side to take more map control and forcing the CT side to play more defensive. As a result, the CT side has to use a lot more util to try and deal damage onto those Ts pushing or clinch for that map control. In return, in the mid rounds, be aware that you're going to see a lot of scrappiness, a lot of mid round aggression, and very low utility on the CT belts. On my channel, I broke down why Big's 13-2 lead against Liquid wasn't dominant. You can check the description for that. Apart from that, thanks for watching, see you in a bit.